Welcome to another exciting edition of the Plumbing 101 show. My name is Willem. I'm your host. Now, continuous professional development is all about enriching yourself, whether that be personally or whether that be within your career and your trade. It serves as a safeguard of your profession and your trade and your career within your trade. However, it also serves to professionalize the industry as a whole. Now, calling it continuous development or continuous professional development, it means that it's something that's ongoing and it develops, it goes on, which means that change is bound to follow. Change is inevitable. And hence we're focusing in this conversation and this episode, we're looking at the innovation happening within the CPD program, specifically talking about the new CPD Rewards program. Now, joining me in studio today for this conversation is none other than Mr. Nick Joubert of IOPSA, an accomplished and well-recognized leader within the plumbing industry. However, just before we delve into the juicy details of our conversation, let's just cross over to Naomi for some industry news. Don't go away, stay tuned, we'll be right back after this.
Hello and welcome to the news. Thanks to the Rural Water Supply Project spearheaded by the Rand Water Foundation, Mfolozi Combined Primary School in Vryheid finally has access to clean and sanitary water. This organization's strategy is centered on water and sanitation, and it seeks to improve the community's access to clean water and adequate sanitation while also fostering a healthy and hygienic environment. Now, of course, with the upgraded infrastructure, water and sanitation standards have improved, and this has resulted in better hygiene amongst the pupils and the teachers. In further news, Rand Water has urged consumers to use water wisely. This comes after a spike in the water demand due to the recent heat wave. The situation has only been made worse after multiple power failures in the Rand water systems between the 13th of January and the 15th of January. Now, if the current demand in water consumption continues to climb, Rand Water will be forced to implement water supply restrictions in order to protect the integrity of the systems. That'll be it for now. Let's cross over to Willem in the new and improved Plumbing 101 studio.
Welcome back, and thanks to Naomi for the latest industry news. Now, as I've mentioned to you before, my guest in studio today is Mr. Nick Joubert, who is, of course, the National Training Manager of IOPSA. Nick is also a plumber, a recognized plumber master plumber, if I can put it that way, registered as one of the first master plumbers within the country, Nick. And you also have a 50-year experience in the plumbing industry. Is that correct, Nick?
Yes, that's correct. It's a lifetime experience.
Just before we started recording off air, I said to you that you've been in the industry more years than what I am old.
That's correct. I'm also a third generation plumber. So
oh, wow.
my granddad started in 1904 in this trade. So it's in the genes and in the blood.
Tell us about that journey, Nick.
Look, I think, as I said, being part of a plumbing family, I enjoyed it. It is a trade that I'm proud of. I think with the topic that we are dealing with, the continuous professional development, I'm proud to say that we, as the plumbing industry, are the one and only that have, in actual fact, put together a formal program with this, and it has evolved over the years to ensure that the benefit of continuous professional development is seen and felt by the plumber who has to continuously develop him or herself in a trade, because the trade is continuously challenged with new developments, new material, new technology. And if you've been trained like myself in the year when we used molten lead for cast iron pipe joints, is no longer in existence, and today the piping is completely different, and through that you have to continuously develop yourself to ensure that you can comply for the correct use and safe use of such material.
Nick, I love it. I mean, that just exclamates and emphasizes the importance of continuous professional development. But I want to get back to quickly what you said about yourself. Having been, there's a 50-year journey for you within the plumbing industry. You're a third-generation plumber. You're obviously a qualified registered plumber, one of the first registered master plumbers within South Africa. You are the national training manager of IOPSA, as I've mentioned earlier to our viewers and our audience out there. But what has been the journey? I mean, you obviously got your qualified, your red seal, your trade certificate, and then started working in the industry. But then obviously somewhere along the line, your paths crossed with IOPSA and the PIRB, and you landed up as the national training manager at IOPSA. But I also heard a bird whistle that, and hence I'm having you as a guest for talking about CPD and the CPD rewards program and that kind of thing, because of the fact that you're also, on top of everything else, you're the CPD, is that the chairperson of the CPD board?
Of the CPD committee,
Yeah.
Who oversees the actual development of the CPD presentations or programs that is tied to the development of the plumber. Again, that is part of let's call it the involvement. My involvement with IOPSA formally took place in 2009. Up to then, I was part of the industry working. I also involved in training. And when the tools were starting to get too heavy, I then moved over to the training, where the textbooks tends to be a little bit lighter. Although I can assure you that sometimes it is a much more strenuous job to do training than to do the actual physical work.
But isn't it nice, Nick, to be able to transfer your knowledge and your skills onto the younger generation, the next generation of plumbers walking in?
I think that was one of the most satisfying experiences that I've had. In terms of that, there is a number of individuals in our present formal industry structure, such as committee members, etc., which, if we look back, it goes back and we would get then acknowledgement, or I would get acknowledgement. Thank you for what you've done for me, and this is why I'm here today. Now, with that involvement, it is critical that one needs to ensure that this CPD presentation or menu or program you do should be acceptable to the plumber. And change, there's always a resistance to change. But I am of the opinion, with the latest development that will be implemented shortly, that would even better the uptake of our CPD.
If I could just add from my personal perspective, and from what I've had conversations and discussions with other people and other guests on my shows, for me, what I've come to know about CPD is, I always compare it to, let's say, for instance, a dentist. A dentist who haven't kept up with the latest methods, the new technologies and those kind of things. Imagine you show up at a dentist and he says to you, right, sit in that chair, we're going to pull your tooth with the pliers. And then there's the option to go to a dentist who've kept up with the new methods of doing things, with new tools that they have, new technologies that came out, and those kind of things. I always ask the consumer out there, would you rather use the dentist who's going to pull your tooth with the pliers because he never kept up with professional development, or would you go and sit with the other one who uses the latest methods and the latest tools? And that's the same for the plumbing industry from my perspective, Nick, is that it's continuously changing. There's constantly new plumbing equipment. There's new materials. There are new ways and methods of doing things. There's new technology coming into the industry, the plumbing industry. There's so much new things that if a plumber does not keep up with that, if he doesn't constantly develop himself professionally and keep up with what is going on, he's going to lag behind. That's just my opinion, my 10 cents worth.
Willem, you are 100% correct. And if we use the analogy of the dentist, let's go to the plumber. The consumer will have a choice of plumber A, who sticks to the old method, So you have a metal rod, and you try and unblock a drain. Then you find you can't do it, well, then you make an excavation, and then you carry on. So after a day, or maybe 2 days, or maybe a week, the client's site looks like a mole has been operating with all these excavations that have taken place. Paving that was damaged, etc. However, if we go to the new technology to do that exact same job, there's no excavation, there's only access above the ground, there's cameras that goes in that shows exactly where you have to, if you have to excavate, so therefore the damage to the surface and paving is minimal, or the blockage is removed mechanically by electronic and mechanical means to then have a clean job, unblock the drain, and the client would then have the choice between the plumber with the old technology or the plumber with the new technology. And sometimes there's a price difference, but one needs to, in actual fact, compare apples with with this type of thing. And that is precisely what CPD does. It empowers the plumber to use the new technology.
Quicker, faster, better, it is easier and more efficient in many instances. Now, there's a lot more to be said about the importance of CPD, but before we continue our conversation, let's just go to a quick ad break. We'll be right back after this.
Good day, how can I help you?
Hi, I'm here to log in my COCs, but I seem to be having an issue with my computer.
No problem, but did you know that you can log your COCs using an app on your cell phone?
Oh, what app is that?
It's called the App Plumber. Do you have a smartphone with you?
Yes, I do.
Oh well, let me show you how it works.
Not only can you access your PIRB profile on the App Plumber, but you can also earn CPD points while exploring the plumbing industry in the palm of your hand. Download the app from Google Play Store and join thousands of other happy users.
Being part of an industry professional body is a personal decision.
To those who take pride in their trade, it stretches far beyond having a status of being licensed to issue certificates of compliance.
To them, the consumer matters.
As part of the plumbing industry, you help to bring the most valuable commodity to civilization. Water is life.
Be sure to continue to reap the benefits of being a proudly PIRB registered plumber
by continually renewing your registration. Welcome back to this episode of the Plumbing 101 show, in which myself and Nick Joubert are having a discussion about CPD, continuous professional development, what it means, what it is, what it entails, and how it benefits the industry, you as a person or you as an individual within the industry. And we're also looking at some innovation happening, change happening within the CPD program. Nick, now with 50 years of experience in the plumbing industry, in different spheres of the plumbing industry. I mean, you've been there, you've dug the trenches, you've laid the pipes, you've fit the fittings, you've done everything up until to the point now where you are involved in training and CPD, and where you are transferring your skills and where you are helping other people to professionally develop. From a personal perspective, what does CPD mean to you?
Look, I think from a personal point of view, we've coined a phrase that says continuous professional development. However, it is nothing else than doing continuous research on new developments, new methods, better methods, improved methods, finding solutions to certain challenges within the plumbing industry, and formalizing that, putting it in a specific program, in a presentation, is in actual fact what CPD is for the plumber itself. The plumber, and I can take it for myself, if I stuck to what happened to me in the year 1970s, it just, you would be obsolete, you would be placed in a museum, etc. It doesn't work. You will not be part of the modern plumbing industry as today. So it has to happen, and it has to happen, and it happens in an easier way, achievable and obtainable, with somebody that formalize it like the Plumbing Industry Registration Board, that packages it and then presents it to the plumber. So it makes it much easier to obtain. So it's not like you have to go and plant and then reap the actual benefits. You go to the shop and you purchase what you require.
Nick, but how spoiled are the plumbers today in comparison to in the 70s for where they can get information from? Where there are so many platforms. I mean, the industry bodies are presenting to them and offering them so many platforms on which they can learn more so that they can professionally develop. I mean, there's so many platforms. I mean, they've got webinars, they've got shows like this Plumbing 101 show. They've got so many other platforms and methods through which they can learn. It's at the tip of their fingers on the internet. They can call the industry bodies to ask for assistance and help and ask them questions about their trade, specifically to learn more and to, would you agree?
Absolutely, absolutely. Availability of new technologies, new methods, solutions to challenges are there, numerous.
And information about it.
Correct. And the plumber just needs to participate. And otherwise, he has an option. He can do it on himself. But then to get to the same level, he's going to spend much more time collecting and developing and researching that type of thing. It is there. It's available for the plumber. And the plumbers can feel proud if you look at other trades that it's not there. And if you go to our new technology for vehicles with the new electric cars, etc., there's a whole lot of reskilling and training that takes place. Plumbing is exactly the same. But the motor one is linked to a manufacturer, where plumbing industry, we're doing it generic and it's for everybody to participate. Talking
about learning more and all the options available, can a person learn more about the plumbing industry after 50 years in the plumbing industry?
I'm still learning every day. So it is there with new technology. I've learned this morning of a low pressure, combined, integral heat pump.
It's ever evolving. So change is inevitable. And we have to be innovative to come up with new ways and new methods to encourage people to continuously professionally develop, to continuously learn about the new things happening in their trade. So let's talk about one of those innovative things that the industry bodies and the PRB and also whoever is involved come together and put together. The CPD Rewards Program. Nick, if you don't mind, what is the CPD Rewards Program? And then to top that question up, how does it sort of integrate into the current CPD program?
Look, I think as a team and the development team and the team leading the CPD development, is that we have found that there was, in the beginning, some resistance to uptake on these various programs that's been offered free of charge, offered at a cost or whatever the case may be. So the result is that shortly, this CPD rewards program will be implemented where individuals, the plumber, will be rewarded through either a discount in terms of buying the COCs, which is part of his tools, or when he re-registers every year, he will also then receive a discount. So that was a program that we've developed, that we call it the rewards program. It would have different levels of rewards as we move on to ensure that we continuously motivate and incentivize the individuals to participate, not for financial gain, but for professional development. That would be the offspring from that development or taking part in CPD points, that they would then in actual fact achieve some sort of an additional reward, not just the professional development that they do have. And that is going to be implemented shortly. We as a CPD committee looks forward to the successful implementation. And if we look historically, we have had some successes, we've had some hiccups, but I'm sure that this will in actual fact improve the uptake of that. And overall, the measurement and the feedback is from the numbers of participation that CPD there is an uptake, and the value thereof is seen and felt by the plumbers, hence the increased participation.
It's sort of people are now becoming more aware of the benefit of CPD, continuous professional development, certainly buying into it more than what they have before. Certainly also the more now it seems with this rewards, the CPD rewards program, serving as an encouragement and as a motivation for the people to take it up and to buy into it and to actually become part of it and do it.
One can sort of say, CPD activity and taking part in the CPD activity were sort of on one level. So you only had that because you had to get it, and you collated your points on an annual basis. However, with this reward program, you add another tier and another reward and another advantage for the individual plumber to in actual fact continue with that. So it will make it a little bit more appealing to the plumber. That is not only for professional development, gaining new knowledge, but there's additional benefits that comes to it.
It's awesome to hear that it's integrating with the current CPD program, the existing CPD program.
Absolutely. And it's an improvement on the existing system.
Improvement, innovation, evolvement, ne? Lekker. But also that sounds to be a little bit more finer details of how it works and the benefits thereof and those kind of things. And certainly, I'm sure that if our audience and our viewers are, if they do have questions about it to find out these finer details, surely they can contact the industry bodies, the PIRB, to find out more and learn more about those benefits and exactly how it works.
They are most welcome to contact the PRB in terms of that for further details. And once it's launched, it will also be done in such a way that those details are also then published and informed to the individual of how it works. And then they'll be able to log on to their own profile at the PRB and to see what progress have they made in terms of the reward, in terms of their normal CPD the collation that they have to measure, and see that they work towards an improved individual.
Nick, we are running out of time for this episode. We are going to go to a draw of this episode, or draw to a close of this episode for that matter. But I do have one last question. But before I ask that question, to our audience, our viewers out there, let's just cross into another ad break quickly. Don't go away. Stay tuned. And Nick and I will be back right after this.
The PIRB Master Plumber Recognition Program has officially arrived. As an essential service to society, there must be constant growth and development within this important and ever-changing industry. Developed by the PIRB, the Master Plumber Recognition Program has launched as a new PIRB designation, allowing industry champions to take the lead. Skilled and experienced plumbers equipped to take the lead enroll today to start your journey in becoming a recognized PIRB Master Plumber.
Welcome back. Nick Joubert and I are still having a conversation about continuous professional development, specifically looking and focusing on the new CPD rewards program. Now, we've had a couple of we shared a couple of details about it before we went into the ad break. Nick, before we went into the ad break, we focused quite a bit on what CPD means to the individual and how it helps them to improve and stay up to date with whatever is happening and whatever changes and evolving is happening within the trade. What benefit does it have? What benefit does continuous professional development have for the industry, the plumbing industry at large?
But I think one of the challenges within the industry and as an industry body, various and numerous complaints from consumers will be leveled at us and say, this is not right and that is not right. So from that component, you would find that CPD does benefit that there is an upliftment of skill, which then leads to lesser complaints or dissatisfaction with the consumer. But even a little bit further and bigger is the industry consists of manufacturers and merchants. Mm-hmm. And from that perspective, one would also see that there's a move from the manufacturers who has a warranty and a guarantee on their products, that sometimes that recall from the consumer and say, your product is not working. 90% of the time, it's because it wasn't installed 100% correctly and compliant. Now, through CPD, you would reduce that reoccurrence of it. So therefore, it's also for the benefit of the bigger part of the industry in terms of manufacturing and merchants, on that basis that you ensure that you can upskill individuals to use it correctly, even to service it correctly, or even to service it in terms of the warranty or guarantee conditions.
But for that matter, Nick, and for that sake, would you say that it's important to get the assistance from the industry at large, not just the plumbers themselves, but also from manufacturers and supply stores and those kind of things. Would you say that it's important to get them on board, to encourage, to put in things in place, form part and join the PRB and the CPD committee to encourage the plumbers more to do CPD?
In terms of the CPD, the new reward program, the merchants and the distributors and the manufacturers are included into that new reward system with those details, and see how do they participate, how do they in actual fact add value to that rewards program, which ultimately benefits the plumber, but the consumer, but indirectly also themselves. So it's not done exclusively for a plumber, it is inclusive of all the participants and components within the plumbing industry.
Nick, I think that draws, we've drawn to a close of this episode, and that concludes our conversation. I think there's a lot more that we can share about the rewards program. Like we said, for the viewers out there, please do contact the PRB to find out more. But Nick, I want to thank you again for your time and your effort and have joined me, and for having shared, the valuable information with us.
Thank you. And in conclusion, the word or the emphasis is on continuous. Let's not stop. Let's continue to participate and improve our wonderful industry. You will see that without the plumber, we won't have a country.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Civilization cannot exist without plumbing. Now, I think that draws to a close of the conversation between Nick and I about CPD and the new CPD rewards program. We're going to say goodbye from the two of us, but do stay tuned, because we're going to cross over to Naomi for some industry news right after this. Take care and see you in the next one.
Welcome back to the news. This year, the PIRB is introducing a CPD reward system where plumbers are rewarded for their hard work when staying up to date with their CPD points. The higher the plumbers earn, the better their rewards. With this program, plumbers will be able to receive discounts on certain items such as products and services depending on their CPD points. But it's not just the plumbers who can benefit from this program. So the stakeholders, the media, the plumbers, the consumers become part of this CPD reward system and benefit from an increased brand awareness, marketing opportunities, advert placement discounts, and many, many more. And coming up next Thursday, the 9th of February, IOPSA will be hosting the Plumbers Evenings in Gauteng, KwaZulu-Natal, Western Cape, Free State, and in the Eastern Cape. For more information on the Plumbers Evenings for 2023, make sure to visit the IOPSA website on www.iopsa.org. That's it for now. Bye.